Welcome back to All Abilities Homestead. This week I'm giving you a little look inside my life as we prepared for a winter storm. The forecast was saying snow, but we ended up getting hit with ice, so I was trapped in the house. But before the storm came in, I decided to take a blanket down to put it in our blessing shelf for anybody who might need it when the cold weather came. I took a picture of the shelf, and when I got home, I posted it to our Facebook group. And 20 minutes later, someone else sent a picture showing that a whole lot of other people had brought blankets as well. So it felt really nice to know that we had a collection of blankets there for anyone who needed them. The next day, the ice came in, and we were all trapped at home. Schools were closed, work was closed. So I had a house full of people, and it was a little bit noisy to try and make videos. But I did record as I started cleaning out the freezers and organizing things to put it back in. Over the months, so much had gotten just dropped in there willy-nilly and made it really difficult to find things when I was trying to. So I decided it was a good day to organize. So here I am just emptying out both of the freezers, piling it all on the table and sorting through it. Some things got pitched that had been in there for way too long. Some things got fed to the dogs. But mostly I just kind of came up with a system and put it all back in neatly. The cat obviously was trying to help me quite a bit as well. Anyway, you'll see here mostly the freezer in the kitchen, I keep immediately heat and eat type things, ice cream and breakfast sausage and those kind of things. I have an upright freezer that is over in the dining room. It had been in the garage, but I couldn't get out there to it, so it made more sense to move it in where I can reach it. You'll see as I'm organizing and pulling things out that the general system in my freezer is the nuts are at the bottom, chicken's on the top shelf. Those are magazine racks that I use in the freezer to hold all the bags of vegetables. That way it keeps them from sliding out on me and making a mess. Then I put all the roast on the bottom, and it's kind of miscellaneous in that middle shelf. It's got things like fish and snacky kind of pizzas, and those are bags of apple butter that I ran out of jars, so I freezed. I've got 5 bags of apple butter that whenever I get around to getting more jars, I'll take them out and make them, can them up. So that's mostly how I organize my freezer so that I can reach everything. Those are blueberries. They're going to go in there with miscellaneous too. We use those for smoothies. And what else do I have? Butter, lots of butter and stuff in the freezer. Putting all the chicken back in on the top shelf. Hopefully it'll stay organized for a little while, but no guarantees. With 4 people pulling stuff in and out of the freezer, they don't always put them back where I like them to be. So I got the freezers in pretty good shape and started making my list for upcoming meals on what I can make out of what I've got. And then closing up that, and I moved on to, this was a container of pulled pork that I had made a few months ago and forgot that it was in there, so I threw it in the crock pot, and that is what ended up being for dinner, so that I could use it up and get it out of the way. I also found a container of corned beef that was from last St. Patrick's. I heated that up and gave it to the dogs because I didn't think anybody was likely to eat it after this long. The kitchen freezer is pretty much empty now, so then I could start making my list for grocery shopping, and going through the drawer in the refrigerator and tossing out things that are expired. And then when I got done with that, I tackled the snack basket which is where I keep things that anybody in the house is welcome to grab if they get hungry. They're not planned for any meals, and that way they know that if it's in that basket, it's theirs for the taking. In general, the 3 baskets down there at the end of the kitchen, the first one is the snack baskets, the second basket is bread, and then the third basket is miscellaneous, like plastic forks and napkins and those kind of things. That way they're all down low enough that I can reach them, but it still is organized and it doesn't look too messy. So most of my kitchen, we try and have it organized so that I can reach and be able to cook and do things for the family myself, and so I'm not having to ask for a lot of help. The upper cabinets have canned goods and mostly stuff that I don't get to a whole lot. Coffee and those kind of things that I don't use. So we've come up with this system over the years that works to make things wheelchair accessible. This basket had become a real mess, and I didn't realize we had so many cheesy crackers because they had all fallen to the bottom of the basket. So this way I'm kind of organizing them into a smaller basket inside the bigger basket, and that way it's easier for people to find things. Trying to figure out how I can reach it all. I pulled a chair over to set the basket down on the chair, and that way I can put things in it. So you'll see I just keep on sorting. We keep lots of the little bitty cereals because the little guys like to have it when we go somewhere. We'll grab it and throw it in a diaper bag so that they can snack on it. All of those Ziploc bags there are full of squeezy peanut butter. They're just little packets of peanut butter so that they can be squeezed onto crackers. Those are Scooby snacks. They actually look like dog treats, but they're graham crackers. And for whatever reason, the little guys really like them. So I'm just sorting and organizing as best that I can. We also had a whole lot of bags of chips that had been put in there without putting a clip on them, so they're stale. And then as I was putting that up, I discovered that there are also boxes of Go-Gurts that were put somewhere else, so they all go in the snack basket as well. Basket's done, and then I move to the refrigerator to do a quick check of it. I do have acrylic trays that I picked up at Ross, I think, but they just help me to be able to put things in it, and I can pull the tray all the way out. That way nothing gets pushed all the way to the back where I can't reach it. And then the kitchen's done. And finally the ice melted enough that I could get out of the house. So we decided that everybody in the house needed a day in the sunshine. So we loaded up boys and we headed to Walmart. It's about a half-hour drive away. So it was an outing, and we didn't plan very well because we went not too far before nap time. So once we got there, the meltdown started, and I didn't get to film much of that trip. It was a big grocery run. We spent over $400, but you'll see that I did not get much of anything filmed. There is still a little bit of ice. There's some here, there's some there at the end of the ramp, and then when we get out to my van, you'll notice that there is ice next to the van, but luckily when the ramp folds down, it went over the ice and I could still get in. Dottie's car did get driven this past week, so you can see all of the ice melt that got all over her car. She's going to have to go wash it. But my car's nice and clean. So we made it to Walmart, and Archer assumed his usual position, which is on the footplate of my wheelchair. That little guy hasn't walked very much since he began walking. And we headed in to stock up on groceries. I had a really long list written, and of course, once I got inside the store, I discovered that I left the list at home. So we had to just remember as best we could. As we got over by the garden section, I noticed that the seeds are all out for the spring. And although it'll be at least another month before I can plant anything, I was ready to start thinking about the garden. So I spent a little bit of time going through the seeds and picking out what I thought I might want to plant. I wish that I had a way to start seeds earlier and have actual plants to put in the ground later, but there just is not a good place in this house to be able to set up any kind of seed trays. And we had converted the garage into a room, is where my daughter and son-in-law sleep. So between cats and little boys, there's just not a place to set seed trays where they would not be messed with. Maybe next year I'll have a greenhouse again and be able to start seeds out there. But I got a pretty good selection of peppers and squash and various things like that. I generally like to buy my tomato plants already growing so that they start producing quicker. I think I may have got a little bit of lettuce as well, and cucumbers. Dottie was looking at flower seeds. I don't do flowers. I pretty much just do things that are edible because I feel like if I have limited space, I'd rather grow produce. And I've discovered over the years that my kids ate vegetables better if they helped grow them. So that's kind of the philosophy I'm going with grandsons, is that maybe if they're helping water them every day and seeing them grow, that then they'll be willing to try more vegetables than what they eat now. Also, something I have discovered in editing these videos is that you don't realize what your hair looks like until you see it from other angles. So recent videos have made me decide that it's time to color my hair again. And this video certainly is reminding me of that. So don't be surprised if in an upcoming video I look a little bit different. If you have made it this far in the video, thank you so much for sticking with me. This particular video, for instance, has been a real challenge to edit. I don't know why, but I lost video coverage. My voiceover recordings have not recorded or have just disappeared into the background. So it's been a little frustrating this week. I was starting to doubt my mental abilities and trying to figure out why everything was going wrong. But I did enjoy getting out. I did enjoy picking the various vegetables that I'll be planting this year. I picked up prescriptions and hair care products and certainly did a whole lot of grocery shopping. We spent quite a bit of money and filled up 2 carts, and then we had to figure out how to get it all in the van with all the people. So some things were literally packed in around the kids to get it all home. We picked up some cat grass and some catnip that Jerry wants to plant. I'm just hoping that doesn't bring all the stray cats in the neighborhood to our house. But time will tell on that. We got some herbs and chives. And then, after we got done picking out seeds, we headed over to the clearance aisle because you can't go to Walmart without checking out the clearance aisle. And that was really where the meltdowns began with the boys. They had way too much CoComelon toys on clearance, and boys saw them and wanted them. so we had to move through there very quickly. I did manage to pick up 3 big pots that they had on clearance for $5 each, which was kind of funny to be going into spring and have things already on sale. But I will use those to plant my tomatoes in. And then we headed over and grabbed Cheetos because we are that family that will try and bribe the kids to stop screaming while we're in Walmart. And it worked for a little while. Anyway, thank you so much for making it through this video, and I hope that future videos are a little better put together. Have a blessed week, and I'll see you later.